John Wick 4 may be the greatest action movie I've ever seen in my life when it doesn't get in its own way. Man, this movie was so good. I just finished seeing John Wick 4, and a quick background just so you know my stance on these movies. I'm a huge fan of the John Wick franchise, and even though it's been a while since I've seen the other movies, I've enjoyed every single one. The second movie is my favorite out of the first three, and this might be controversial, but I actually enjoyed that stupid shootout scene between Common and John Wick in the subway. It was the good kind of stupid. I'll never forget the first time I saw that shootout scene in the sewers. My jaw was on the floor the entire time. Even before I had this channel, when I first saw the John Wick 4 poster, I knew immediately I was going to see it opening weekend. I was so excited for this movie, I skipped every trailer. Because of social media, I knew that my guy Donnie Yen was in this movie, but outside of that, I went in pretty blind. See what I did there? The legend himself, Keanu Reeves, is back as John Wick, and he's just as great as always. What's crazy about Keanu is that I've been a fan of his since I was a little kid. Obviously, everyone loves the Matrix franchise. Speed was a great movie. Granted, I haven't seen that in years, so it might be trash by today's standards. I'm not the biggest fan of his acting skill per se, but when it comes to action movies, amazing actor. He's even cooler when you see him behind the scenes and realize that he can actually kill you if you wanted to. Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne are back in the movie for their characters of Winston and the King. Rest in peace to Lance Reddick, who is also in the movie, and this is one of the last movies he did before his passing. We got a lot of newcomers in this movie. Bill Skarsgård is the main villain here. As soon as I saw him, I was like, that's Pennywise. I don't want to be disrespectful and butcher their names, but the actor that plays Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat movie is in here. There's also an actress that I'm not familiar with, but she plays a character named Akira. What's crazy is that doing research, I saw that she's actually like a singer or something, which is wild to me because she was amazing in this movie, but both of them together, so cool. Everything you would expect to see in a John Wick film is here. The first 40 or so minutes of this movie was so good. We see this villain in Bill's character, and he does something that pisses me off in his very first scene of the movie, but he establishes himself as somebody not to be played with, and as a villain, I was rocking with him. But jumping ahead, we get to this scene that takes place in a hotel in Japan. That's the first time we see a lot of these new characters, and we start to understand the dynamic of what's going on. It's a John Wick movie, so of course a giant action sequence takes place, and I found myself multiple times reflecting and saying, this might be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. The thing that I love about John Wick films is that a lot of their action sequences be like 15 to 20 minutes long, and they do it multiple times. But we got people pulling out swords, shooting arrows, guns, of course. It's a John Wick movie. My theater wasn't that packed, but I had to keep catching myself from saying things out loud. But in my mind, I was like, oh my God. I'm in my seat having a blast. I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm weaving my head like I'm fighting. And then my dog Donnie Yen comes out. Bruh. So in this movie, he's basically Daredevil. His character is blonde, but he kills a lot of people. It was one scene where he used this tech that makes noise when people walk by just so we can know where they are. And every time it went off, all I could think about was bing bong. But Donnie's great. He's always great. I wish he was in every action movie ever made. And once again, I don't want to butcher the actor's name, but you have Scorpion and Akira, and they play father and daughter in this movie, and they were killing people left and right. And this isn't me pandering because I'm being dead serious when I say this, but one thing that I love is a strong female character that's a savage. Whether it's a TV show like Octavia, a movie like Sarah Connor, a video game, quick shout out to my girl Senua. The character of Akira was amazing to me, and she's definitely my favorite new character in this movie. Seeing that actress who's apparently a pop star do some of those fighting scenes, she was incredible. She was so cool, and she had one scene where she was like stabbing this dude up a flight of stairs. I had to stop myself from yelling, God damn! I literally had to remind myself that I was in public, but I kept telling myself, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I found myself saying that multiple times. This isn't a spoiler, but like the last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie was just like one long fight scene. Like, it was just non-stop action. It was one scene where they were like fighting in traffic. John was shooting at people, cars were just speeding by left and right, people were getting hit by oncoming traffic. I'm torn on if I like this opening hotel fight scene more or if I like this other one that took place later in the film. It was one really cool fight sequence near the end of the movie where it was kind of like a top-down camera shot. Like, from our perspective, we were looking from above. It was kind of like a video game. The thing that blew me away about it was the fight sequence was like one long continuous shot, and it went for like 5 minutes. They cut to a regular camera, then went back to that top-down shot for a few minutes. Looked amazing. And then John had these dragon breath bullets that basically exploded on impact. The inner child in me was squealing like a little girl. I work in production, but my dream would be to work in like an actual movie set, and the camera work here top notch. The lighting in multiple scenes just had me in awe, and it made me feel like such a production nerd. I always wonder if regular people care about stuff like that. And before I talk about the bad stuff, I just wanted to give a shout out to the fight coordinator, the stunt team, whoever was in charge to make sure that John Wick reloads his gun. Thank you. It's such a small detail that's missed in a lot of movies, so I always appreciate when I see John reload his gun or he's like forced to pick up another one. Now the bad, which isn't that bad to me. This movie is really long. It's by far the longest movie in the series with a runtime of 2 hours and 49 minutes, and it fills every minute of it. Even the fight scenes seem really long, which I'm not complaining about, but the movie gets really slow when it starts to focus on the lore of the story. A lot of this movie is focused on the high table, and I just don't care about that stuff. It's kind of like the Godzilla movies. Like, sorry, I don't care about Millie Bobby Brown and the other human characters. I just want to see Godzilla and the Hydra fight for an hour and a half. The middle of the movie just dragged to me as John was trying to figure out a way for him to battle Pennywise. And it pains me because usually this is who I root for. But I couldn't stand the black dude in this movie. And no offense to the actor, but I just couldn't stand Tracker. He was just this boring assassin that came out of nowhere. His acting wasn't bad, but just seeing Keanu, Donnie, and then him, it just felt off. I don't know, maybe I would have thought the character was cooler if he was played by a bigger name actor. So maybe I'm tripping. That's not fair to him. And then on top of that, they gave him the thing that made Halle Berry's character so cool in the last one. They gave him a dog. The dog was great, by the way. He didn't ruin the movie for me by any means, but I just wasn't feeling him. Like, I wish his character took a backseat to Akira because he played such a big part in this movie. I'm not gonna spoil it by saying whether Akira lives or dies. I just wish they would have did more with her character. But like I said, I loved her. Those are really the only things that I can complain about. I mean, you could argue that the bad guys in this film wait to get killed by John one by one, but here, who cares? I don't remember if police are in this universe because I didn't see one cop this entire movie, but here, who cares? I actually might go see it again soon. Oh, but there is an end credit scene that I missed. I read it online later because I didn't know about it, but stay if you want to see that. I liked the third movie, but I remember leaving the theater like, all right, they need to wrap it up because I felt like they were running out of steam. But John Wick 4 took it to a completely different level, and I actually want more. I don't care if Keanu's directly involved. I don't care if it's just in the universe. I just want whoever is responsible for this movie to keep making more. As of this recording, it has a critics and fans rating of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is rare to see. Man, I actually want to give this a 10, but like I said, this movie is way too long. I just don't care about the lore that they were trying to establish. I feel like some scenes could have got cut out completely, but I'm gonna still give this a strong, solid 9 and say that this is the best movie that I've seen so far in 2023, even though I love Creed. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below. Love you guys. Tell somebody you love them. Until next time, see you in the next life.